Hi, and thanks for joining the final session of Instagram No Filter Live Q&A. Once again, my name is Lian Duhey, and I'm your host. Last week, Rishi shared with us excellent tips on how to create and optimize your campaigns on Instagram. Today, we have Ebu from our marketing science team, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with him about user insights on Instagram and also how to measure your campaign success. If you have any questions for Ebu, please make sure you post them on the comment section so that I can read them out later. All right, so Ebu, tell us about yourself and what you do, because marketing science sounds like, you work in a laboratory, you put marketing data in a test tube. So tell us about what you do.
So I'm part of marketing science, and it's not a bunch of guys, walking around in a white lab coat, and that's why I wore a black T-shirt to make that point, But it's like the name suggests, it puts science behind marketing on Instagram. So we look at consumer research to tell us how people are using the community, how people are using the platform, and then measurement to understand which ad formats work the best. In essence, what we're trying to do is optimize marketing so that it's most effective to our advertisers.
Okay, well, tell us more about the Instagram community. What have you found out so far?
So it's very interesting because the Instagram community is very unlike any other social media community that's there. And I'll tell you why. Let's look at the macro view first. So today we have over 500 million Instagram users who are using the platform. And out of this, you have 80% of them who are outside of the US. And it's growing at a phenomenal rate. We grew from 400 million to over 500 in less than 6 months.
Wow.
And if you look at Southeast Asia, like markets like Indonesia and Thailand, Indonesia has about 22 million Instagram users, Thailand has about 7 million. And these are some of the biggest growth markets for Instagram. When you look at the community per se, the unique thing about the community is that unlike other social media, here what brings the community together are the interests that they share. It's not because they know each other, but it's because they share common interests. And that's what binds the community together. And that's the reason you have over 50% of followers in a non-reciprocal relationship. And also the community is very discerning. They are well educated. They are looking out for creative, for unique insights, inspiration, and at the same time they have good disposable income. So they are a very valuable audience for any marketer, any advertiser.
Any specific user insight that stood out to you?
There is a lot, but something which really struck me was generally brands would need to push their message out in any media channel, even in digital channels. You see brands pushing their message out. But Instagram is a community where the users are actually seeking information from brands. They consider brands to be a great source, to understand and know more about new products, services, and understand brand stories, the legacy or the history behind the brands. So that I thought was really interesting, because you have about 1 in 2 Instagrammers who are following a brand, and this gives a great opportunity for brands to tell their story in a different light to an audience who is open to hearing from them.
So that's pretty interesting, because you said a while ago that Instagram really is a place where you can connect with other people that you don't necessarily know through shared passion. But at the same time, businesses need to fit into this community. So how do you think they can do that?
Yeah, and that's again interesting because the question you asked is whether businesses can fit into the Instagram community. I would say businesses were always a part of the Instagram community. Even before advertising was introduced, businesses were always there, and users were interacting with businesses. We have what we know is that more than 60% of Instagram users say that they've come to know about new products and services on Instagram. And this is even before advertising came onto the platform. So I think businesses have always been a part of the community, and as long as the business tells their story in a visually compelling manner, in a relevant fashion, they'll always have a place on the community.
Yeah, so I see one interesting question that we have here. Tying back to what you said, it seems like Instagram is really a great platform where businesses can push out their message in terms of more information about their product or service. But the question that we got here is, can Instagram drive sales?
I would have initially also thought that as a platform, Instagram would do a great job in informing people of new products or new services that's there. But that's again the surprising thing about Instagram, which I came to know, was that people are actually, taking actions, after they see a post, which they like. It could be a brand post, a product post. 75% of Instagram users are taking an action. And these actions could be anything. It could be just putting a comment to the post asking for more information, or it could be going to the brand's profile page to get more information, or just searching for more information. So these were action paths which the users built, which the platform didn't, but the users built. And we learned from these action paths. And what we did was we formalized those action paths to make it more easy for the users and the brand. So if you look at some of the ad products that Instagram offers, for instance, website click, would be one such product, where what happens is when the ad comes, and if you find the ad to be interesting and something that you want to know more about, you click on the ad, and you go to the website and get the most relevant detail about that post. So this was something that we didn't invent, but we just formalized an action path that users were anyways taking. And we also have a lot of success cases out of it. To quote one, there is a brand called Clovia, which is an e-com client, and they ran a campaign on Instagram using website conversion, and they were able to get a 6% increase in their conversions, their website conversions, at a 30% lower cost. Wow. So absolutely, I think Instagram can impact for you across the purchase funnel, right from awareness to driving intent or sales.
Yeah, that's great because we're basically taking user feedback and building that into a product. Yeah. So another thing that I usually hear from many businesses here in Southeast Asia is that I need to have a lot of followers in order for me to push my message out there or amplify my message and get more distribution.
Yeah. While as tempting as that is, because who doesn't like followers and fans?
Yeah, I have 500, not very many.
Okay, but having a big fan base is definitely something that you can brag about, like 500, But what you also need to understand is that while people are following brands, and are getting messages from brands on Instagram, people are not following all the brands that they're using in their daily life. It's just not feasible, for you to like every brand that you use in your daily life. Also, if you look at the amount of content that's generated on Instagram, we have about 95 million photos and videos that are posted on a daily basis. So in so much of content, it becomes very difficult for you, though you have followers, to have your post come into the feed every time. Instead, I think how we should be thinking about it is how I want to use Instagram. What's the business objective that I want to achieve through Instagram? And make a campaign and design a campaign and execute so as to maximize that objective. For instance, if the objective is to drive awareness for a new product that you have, then you want to build a campaign, which helps you do that, where you're optimizing for driving awareness of the product rather than a campaign which helps you get more followers.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So you mentioned 95 million photos and videos. How important has video become on the platform? So we know people have been spending about 100 million hours watching videos on Facebook. How important has it become to Instagram?
So videos have actually exploded on mobile. Before that, videos were generally consumed on TV, but now you see a huge change, where mobile is becoming your primary medium for consuming video. By some estimates, by 2020, 75% of the data on mobile will be on videos. Now, that's the estimate that's there. And because of that trend, and Instagram being an exclusively mobile platform, you see that also on Instagram, where we've seen video consumption increase by 150% just in the last 6 months. And videos offer a great source, it's a great format because you can tell a very rich story, and you can kind of have the audience engage with that story. So it's a great format that advertisers can use. And Instagram also offers you additional capabilities like hyperlapse or boomerang, which can make your video more catchy so people notice it. So I think, yes, as long as you have a campaign or a creative which you think will be delivered best via video, the video format is a strong choice for you on Instagram.
So I've asked this before, but from your perspective, which works better and which drives results, photos or videos?
Okay. I would say on that the jury is still out, because while we believe that video is going to become a dominant format going forward, it isn't yet. So I wouldn't claim that video is like a magical solution which will work for all your campaigns, all your objectives yet. And that's also the reason why Instagram offers you so many different formats that you can choose from. Because maybe you can tell your story best through static images, through photos. That might be the most impactful because it delivers your message in one frame. Or maybe it might be a mix. Maybe you want to use both videos and photos, to get the best message out of for your campaign.
So it's really up for marketers to decide what works best for their audience.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have another question from the audience here about Facebook and Instagram. So should I run campaigns only on Facebook, only on Instagram, or should I do both? What is the best way to drive business results?
I think it depends. If let's say you're designing your entire campaign around Instagram, you are inspired by the content on Instagram, you're targeting based on Instagram, the tone, the feel of your creatives, everything is aligned with Instagram, then of course it makes sense for you to run it specifically on Instagram. But if that's not the case, what you're really interested in is meeting your business objective, and that's the main purpose of your campaign, then our suggestion would be to run it on both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, should I build different campaigns for both? I mean, do I need to create a separate campaign for Facebook and a different one for Instagram? What is the best practice?
Over here, my suggestion would be that you need to do it together in one campaign. And the reason being that you allow the system to decide how the budget should be allocated between Facebook and Instagram. Because what the system will do is see how the users are behaving on Instagram and on Facebook, and how they have responded to previous campaigns with similar objectives. And depending on where it thinks that it has the maximum opportunity or the probability to meet the campaign objective, it would serve the ad over there. And I'm not just saying it because I think that's the right thing, but we actually did a piece of research where we ran 10 campaigns, across verticals, across geographies, where the same creatives were used, the same campaign budget was used, and one campaign was run only on Facebook, and one campaign was run on both Facebook and Instagram. And what we saw was that in terms of the impact, in terms of the brand impact, both, whether it was on Facebook and Instagram, both had the same strong impact that was there. But the difference was that with Facebook and Instagram, where the system was deciding on the allocation, you were able to get 500,000 more people with the same budget. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it from an absolute impact standpoint, the option of running your campaign with Facebook and Instagram and allowing the system to optimize for your delivery is definitely going to give you more returns, more value.
Okay, because basically we reach more people with the same amount of money.
Exactly.
That's great. And how do you measure campaign success on Instagram?
So deliberately, Instagram campaign reporting is on the same platform as Facebook. So you would be able to see the campaign measurement reporting on Power Editor or Ads Manager. And the reason that's done is for you to compare across campaigns, campaigns which had Instagram versus those that didn't, and see how the metrics are different, so you can build your own case on the value that Instagram can bring. Besides that, there are a bit more evolved solutions which are also available, wherein if you embed the Facebook pixel, on your website, or if you put the Facebook SDK on your app, you're able to really track, of all the people who saw your ad, saw your campaign on Instagram, how many of them took the desired action. And you can also use all that information to retarget, the people that you are interested in.
And the reporting in Ads Manager will already, I can separate the two platforms,
Yeah.
right? So, or Power Editor, which is great. So any final advice for our businesses out there who are very interested to start their Instagram campaigns?
I think, we need to understand that the Instagram audience, the community, it's a highly engaged community, and it's a community that's open to hearing from brands. They've never thought of brands as an outsider, but always as a part of the community. And as long as you have a story to tell, as long as you have a true story to tell about your brand, a product, service, or a value, that is true and genuine, and you have a visually compelling way to say it, I think you will do really well on Instagram. So I don't, and given the engagement of the community and the disposable income that they have and the discerning audience that they are, I think they should be part of every media plan. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be for any marketeer. Every marketeer should be looking at Instagram as a community that they should reach. The second thing that generally becomes a barrier is the creatives, because we say that Instagram is such a visual community. You may think that you need very high production value and a lot of resources to make your creative Instagram worthy. But again, we need to think about the community, and a lot of the content that's generated on Instagram is generated by our users, and most of them have nothing more than a smartphone. Right?
Absolutely.
So I don't think we should let creative become a block, because what we've understood is that good creative works across platforms, and we did this exercise where we had 2,400 users rate creatives that were designed specifically for Instagram and creatives that were done specifically for Facebook, and what we saw was that the ratings were very, very similar. It's just that good creatives that are built for the feed environment, that talk a visual story, a compelling story, would work across platforms. And lastly, it's never been easy. It's never been easier to get to your audience at scale on a global platform like Instagram. And you can do that, by yourself. You can just go to facebook.com/blueprint to know more about what everything that Instagram has to offer. And you can run your own campaigns. You can do everything from start to end on your end.
Fantastic. So once again, Eboo, thank you so much for joining us for the last session of Instagram No Filter live Q&A.
Thank you.
It's really great to hear from you about these very interesting user insights and also how to measure our campaign success on the platform. So if you missed the previous sessions of our Instagram No Filter live Q&A, you can always access them on the video tab of our Facebook for Business page. And you can also go to business.instagram.com to find out what other businesses in Southeast Asia have done on Instagram. So once again, thank you for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your day.